Good morning. Gonna be a gorgeous day here in the Carolinas, and well, I'm out and about doing my thing. Come down here and get me a pack of smokes. It's funny, man. I've been I don't know if y'all know, I'm a widower. She passed away back in 2022, and well, I've been in a relationship. I was in one for almost 3 years. Met her right away, and we hit it off, and well, things were going really well. I was actually going to marry the woman, and we had some problems, kind of why I wrote my books, and I wanted to know why, and I figured it out. I do, and so that's kind of why this video today. Let me roll this up so it's not too loud. I don't know how sound quality is. Anyway, it seems to me today everybody identifies by the trauma they've gone through. I had this, or they hurt me this way, or this happened to me, so now I'm this way and I can't do anything else. Which, horse shit. It's just horse shit. It happened, but it doesn't have to define who you are, and I'm not gonna let it, so bad things happen. It does, but it doesn't mean that's what's always gonna happen. And as long as you keep that in mind, that things will be better and you can do better, you can have better, and then things can be better. But if you're going to identify as a victim all the time, that I have this trauma, and study a lot of Carl Jung. He said we have to go find that shadow self, do that dark work, and he's pretty much into projection and all this. And as I look back on things and think about it, I reckon he's probably right. But now it seems like everybody, there's a video every few seconds about some psychological reasoning, and this is why this happens, and this is why you do the way you do. And maybe, but the way I look at it, it's a choice. You can choose to be happy. And I get it. You don't want to hang around with people not good for you, that are not going to support you and all that. But this is the thing. Those days are going to happen. There's going to be days when, they're not going to be at their best. And they're not going to be supportive, or they're going to be downright shitty and hurt your feelings. It happens. But, I was in a relationship with that beautiful woman of mine for 30 years. And, well, our relationship wasn't perfect, but we'd made the commitment to one another to stay and to work through it, whatever it was. She'd piss me off, I'd piss her off, and, you say something and you don't necessarily mean it in the moment, and it hurts, and you can't take it back. But there's some security in knowing that, hey, they're going to stay regardless. They're going to stay. And well, that was a choice we made. So that's what I'm looking for now. I'm looking for a woman who, I can take care of and love on, and she's going to give me the things I want. And it's hard to find now. It really is. Somebody that's not trauma bonded, or whatever phrase or psychological, I guess, category you find yourself in. But at some point, you have to say, okay, I'll try. I'll give you a chance, and we'll see how this goes. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm actually pretty content being, by myself, and I get to do what I want and all that good shit. But, that's why the Bible says, God said it's not good that man should be alone. And that's what women are for. So they can be there to, give him the other things that he needs that he can't get anywhere else. And I know there's one out there somewhere who's willing to take the chance on me. I know God knows I'm not the easiest to live with, but, there's also a lot of benefits to it too. So, anyway, I just thinking about it, and there might be somebody that wants to be in your life, and maybe sometimes you just shouldn't look for them and they'll just show up. I've made efforts and to no avail, and you always hear that excuse, well, I had this happen and I had that happen, and now I'm cautious and I'm not able to do that. I can't, be this way or do this or whatever. It's an excuse. You can justify whatever, but at the end of the day, if you want to have that relationship with somebody, you have to be willing to be vulnerable and be able to give yourself to them, because that's what it takes. You have to give yourself to them, and they have to give themselves to you, and that's the way it works. And until you're able to do that, your relationship's not going to be solid. And like I said, it's a choice. And I saw this thing about the farmer, and had some kids out there, and he had this big old wheat field out there, and he told them, you go through there and pick the best wheat, just one. You can only pick one, but if you pick the best one, you'll win a prize. So the kids started going through the field, and they were looking at them, and they found some that were really nice looking. They were ripe and full and looked good, but they didn't pick that one because they thought there was a better one. And they walked all the way across the field and got to the other end, and none of them had one except for one child. And he had picked one, and well, he won the prize. And farmer asked him, he said, why'd you pick this one? He said, well, I didn't know if I would see a better one, and I didn't want to end up with nothing. Think about it. Y'all have a good day. Be safe out there. Watch out for the government. Talk at you later.